staff and students to discuss all things Arkansas State University. Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm Jonathan Reeves, an academic advisor at Arkansas State University. A-State Innovate is an entrepreneur's ecosystem led by the Delta Center for Economic Development. It's an outreach organization of the institution that was established to support and coordinate economic development initiatives throughout the state and the greater Delta region. Well, joining us on today's show to tell us about A-State Innovate is a coordinator, Michael Alexander. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. So tell us, before we talk about A-State Innovate, tell us about yourself and how you came to Arkansas State.
Well, back in 2018, I was getting out of doing computer work all the time and looking for a career change, and ended up at the Advanced Manufacturing program out at ASU Newport. And over the summer, they needed someone to work with a client that A-State Innovate had in making some parts on some of the manual machines. And I got the job as a part-time student employee, and I really enjoyed working with everybody. Fast forward a few years later, the director that we had left. We had a pandemic, and then when we came back, I got hired into the role of the coordinator, and I've been here ever since. It's a fantastic job, and I really like working at ASU.
It sounds like it's a fun job.
It is a fun job, yes.
So tell us about A-State Innovate and what your role is in A-State Innovate.
So I'm the coordinator, which means I basically keep all the balls up in the air. Right now, we don't have another employee. We're looking for someone to help out with the engineering and the program stuff. And we also have a part-time student employee that works there. We all come together to simply help people in Northeast Arkansas that are inventors or entrepreneurs find resources. We personally do prototyping stuff. We make stuff at the garage and the shop. But we are connected up through the Delta Center for Economic Development with all kinds of people in the community. We typically have people come to us for questions about patents, financing, in addition to prototyping. And we can connect people up with other people in the community that can do all that. So we're one of the first stops along the way if you're interested in creating your own business, where you can get some help in finding the people that you need to talk to.
When you have people who are interested in, starting, they have an idea.
Yeah.
They're just not sure where to go with it.
Yes.
Tell us about how that process works, about how you work with them to be able to take something that might be on paper and they can make it into reality.
Well, sometimes we get a napkin. That's often what people bring in. You said it was on paper. Yes, that's usually how it starts. We sit down and talk with them about their idea, get an idea of what they've done so far, what they think that they need help with. And then, since we've been through this process quite a few times with different people, we share what we think that they need help with and start to come up with a plan on how we can start to accomplish that. Like I said, generally, people come in with an idea. They might have a piece of paper. They might actually have a primitive prototype that they've made, and they've probably taken it about as far as they can at that point. And that's why they've ended up at our doorstep, because they just need help knowing what the next thing to do is. And we can usually give them an idea of, like, it would be nice if you could get a prototype made that looked good so that you could go to investors or something like that. They may need help with a patent attorney or something like that. We can connect them up with that. And then financing is always a perennial thing. Right. And we can help with that. We can help connect them up with people that can work on a business plan for them so that they can successfully go to a bank and ask for a loan. And there are small government, small business resources and stuff around for that sort of thing that we can connect people up with also.
So many different parts to all of this.
It takes so much to start a new business. It is an overwhelming thing, and particularly when people do have that idea, they feel like it's a good thing, that other people would want this in their life. They get excited about it, and then they either don't know where to go or are overwhelmed with all the things that they have to do. Yeah. And that's where talking to a lot of people in the community that can help with all that helps. Everyone can break things down into their own little area of expertise, and you can develop a plan to get the business off the ground.
I think what's really interesting is how you're able to work with students on being able to kind of get involved in this. So kind of tell us about how you're able to you students in A-State Innovate?
Well, like I said, we have student employees that we've employed. Right now, we've got one. We've had more in the past. We very often reach out, particularly our engineering and art and design students, for help on things that our clients would need. The design students are really, really good because most of the people that work over at my program, myself included, are more engineering focused and more into computers and manufacturing and that kind of stuff. So it is really invaluable when we can bring in the other side of the equation and get some of the art and design people to maybe glow up a product and make it look like somebody wants to invest in it or something like that. So it's really nice to be able to draw on all of the different departments and students that we have here to find what we need. Getting students to help us can be difficult because they're so busy, but every time we found one, they have been absolutely fantastic with helping out. We also work with a lot of people, a lot of classes here on campus in doing some of the classroom stuff. There's a art and design class called Design Entrepreneurship that we work with every year, where they're trying to teach a little bit of business acumen to the art students and teach them how to make some money at what they like to do. And so they have a pop-up store at the end of the semester, and they often come over and use some of our equipment. We help them make some things. It's always a lot of fun because you never know what's coming in.
Right. Shameless plug, you can also use the creative media production students, like the ones
You
running the show here today.
Absolutely can.
And all that.
There is so much talent on this campus from
yeah.
our students. It's amazing what can be done.
Yeah, it's like how it is here at Creative Media Production. It's like it's so much hands-on.
Yes.
And they've got so many brilliant ideas.
Yes.
And it's just like, okay, the sky's the limit, just go,
Yes.
basically, and be able to do that. And,
Yes.
and then they just kind of learn the skills. And that's kind of how it is across campus.
And it's good for the students in terms of real world experience and working on real problems. I think that's invaluable for them. It's good for our clients in the fact that most people don't have a lot of money to lay out right now for things, and they need help. And so it's a great win-win, I think, for everybody.
And students need experience.
They absolutely do. And working on these actual real-world problems, I think, is the best way to get it.
Fantastic. So one of the things that I know, not only are you working with students like here at A-State, but also before we went on the air, you were talking about some students you're working with as part of the Jonesboro School District. Can you tell us about that?
We were talking about me working with some wonderful students over at the University Heights School for Medical Arts. We work with a lot of EAST programs here and throughout Northeast Arkansas at the high school level and other schools. EAST is a great program. It's like we were just talking about. It's experiential learning. They have a project, and whenever you have a project, something like that, you come across problems, and solving those problems and learning to solve those problems, to me, is the essence of learning stuff, because you can read a textbook all day long. And EAST is a great resource for the experiential learning stuff. They got some equipment in their classroom, and they didn't know how to use it. And they reached out to our program because they figure, hey, you guys maybe can help. And we certainly were able to. We're going to be doing a breakout session next week at the convention that they're having down in Hot Springs. We're going to explain to everybody in the area how to use this particular piece of equipment that they have, and hopefully spread the word so that the classrooms can benefit.
Medical equipment?
No, it is a small desktop mill.
Okay.
It's a little gizmo with a little rotating cutter, and it goes in and cuts a piece of wood or plastic or whatever,
Wow.
and it can cut a little three-dimensional thing out. It's similar to a 3D printer or a laser cutter, which are other things that we deal with a lot. Yeah. So that's why we got the call.
So they're working on it, and I can only imagine, you try to figure it out, over a period of no matter, could be a long time.
They have been working on this all year long since they came in.
Wow.
And so they finally, the other day, we were finally able to get a part in the look on those two girls' faces when they actually, with all those months of work and all that, came to a conclusion and got the thing that they wanted, was just priceless.
And see, that's the goal. That's it.
And that's why I do that sort of thing, is because it was great. But hopefully they're going to help me with the Q&A at the presentation, and hopefully we can spread the word and help a lot of other schools learn to do the same sort of thing.
So Arkansas State has been at the East Conference for many, many years. I know the School of Media and Journalism has been there as well for several years. I went last year for the first time and just went around when I had a couple of minutes to kind of go around and just look at what other students were doing, and I was just blown away. And I'm here thinking you have middle school students, you've got junior high school students, high school students and all that, and all the projects, different app developments, different things that they have. It's just
everything under the
absolutely,
sun.
it is incredible.
If you are ever, I don't know, doubting this next generation, just go look at the East stuff and see all the incredible things that these kids are doing at a young age, and we're going to be fine.
Yeah. I'm 50, and I'm here thinking, I would have never thought about something like that.
I wish that program had existed when I was in high school. I would have been all about that.
Seriously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Arkansas State will be there. Well, the School of Media and Journalism will also be there next week at the East Conference, so we're all excited about that. So look forward to seeing you down there as well.
It's always fun.
So before we take this first break, I wanted to ask about, and we'll kind of go into this a lot in the next segment when we're talking about the different areas like the garage and all of the different areas in that. But can you very quickly just kind of, I know you've kind of talked about this a little bit, but you all in those different areas that we'll discuss, basically it's kind of almost like the sky's the limit on the different kinds of areas and things that you all help people with.
Yeah, and that's probably the other very interesting thing for me about this job is I never know what's going to walk in the door. We have ideas of all kinds of things, everything from apps people want to develop to physical things that they want to build. Sometimes we've had people come in that want to build newfangled electrical generators, some very complicated stuff, down to I have something that I want to sell on Etsy and I need to know how to build it, and everything in between. So it's always really interesting. And like I was saying before, with the amount of skill and talent and stuff that we have here on campus, we can probably tackle just about anything. So I'm always up for people to come in and tell me what you got. If we can't help you, we'll let you know, but we probably can do something for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were bringing in something, and you've got 3D printers and all that, and you're just all sorts of stuff that's always being designed and all that. So it's really, really cool.
Yes, the garage on campus is a fun place to be just because we have a lot of stuff that we make all the time.
We'll have to go over there sometime and check it out. It'd be a lot of
great.
fun, for sure. So joining us here today for the show is Michael Alexander, the coordinator of A-State Innovate. We're going to take a quick break, and after this commercial break, we'll continue the conversation. We'll talk about the garage. We're going to talk about the hub. We'll talk about some other things as well, and also thrown to the wolves, that and more coming up right after this quick timeout.
Students should watch ASU-TV just to see the creativity that a college student can get. The creativity that some of these students have is truly amazing. Getting that experience can really just take you further, and I feel like our program does that for a lot of students.
I think one of the things I learned at Arkansas State was life is 10% of what happens to you, 90% of how you respond to it, and that's just something that I live by.
A-State is home, and they're going to treat you like you're a part of the family.
Red Wolf Radio is a student-led organization at Arkansas State University wanting to hear your takes on pop culture, music, the news, and college life. Just about anything you can think of. Located in the Education and Communications building on campus, we are always looking for more volunteers. So if you're an Arkansas State University student, no matter the major, and this is something that interests you, shoot us an email at redwolfradio@astate.edu. That's redwolfradio@astate.edu. Let them hear you howl.
Live from the ASU-TV studios in the School of Media and Journalism, this is A-State Connections. And welcome back to A-State Connections on ASU-TV. I'm Jonathan Reeves. We're continuing our conversation today with Michael Alexander, coordinator of A-State Innovate. And thanks once again for being back. We really have been enjoying having you on the show today. Thank you.
It's been a great conversation so far.
So you were talking about before we took the break about some of the areas that you all, are doing some of the work. You said the garage was probably one of your favorite places.
Well, the garage is where my office is and where I spend most of my time. So yes, that's our location on campus. That's where we have our makerspace, which is also open to the community, by the way. For $50 a month, anybody in the community can buy their way into our makerspace. We have 3D printing, laser cutting, and then a bunch of miscellaneous woodworking and other kinds of equipment there. The garage is mainly where we have our kind of consumer level stuff that won't hurt you. We have a lot of heavier equipment that's in other places, but the garage is also where, since we're on campus, most of the students interact with us, and we have most of the meetings that we have with the public is come on by. We have parking there that you can get to fairly easily, so it's not too bad. So the garage is over in a very sleepy part of campus. So far, the address is 611 University Loop, and that puts you right over by the police station and childhood services. We have, as of yesterday, the groundbreaking for the vet school right across the street from where I am. So
Yes.
I am anticipating that our little sleepy corner of the campus becomes a lot more interesting. There really hasn't been a lot of reason for students to come over that way, unless you live in the housing over there or something like that. So I hope that we get a lot more traffic by.
Oh, I guarantee you're going to have a lot of more activity going on.
I was watching that from my door the other day. So
Yeah, but that is such an exciting thing.
It
coming
is fascinating.
with that, the College of Veterinary
it's
Medicine.
fascinating. Actually, they're going to be using one of the rooms over at the garage for some of their mold making and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So it's just really it's great to be able to see how A-State continues to innovate,
Yes.
advance, and all of
Yes.
that, and working together. That's the big
Yes.
thing, is working together.
Yes.
on all that.
And our program is particularly interdisciplinary. You know, we've been talking about that the whole time,
Yep.
but when you get into creating a business, there's all kinds of stuff you need, from accounting to design to everything. And so there's just about every school that's out here has something to offer for our clients.
Besides the garage, what are the other areas that you all have?
So we also have the shop. It's located out by ASU Newport. It's in the Workforce Training Center out there. It has the metalworking equipment. There's a large wood shop that we have out there. You could bake furniture out there. We have everything you need. Some of that is actually going to be moving around to campus. The Hires Act to support the steel industry and stuff, they're looking for classroom space while they build some more buildings. So some of that is going to be in motion. The shop is where we do the metalworking and more of the industrial type things that you might think of. This Northeast Arkansas is the metalworking capital of Arkansas, and
Yes.
so supporting that in the steel industry is what we do over at the shop. And then something that I'm actually not in charge of, Luna Acosta over at Catalyst at Biosciences, is the other element called the lab. That's the other part of A-State Innovate. And they are into bioscience type stuff. So stuff that might like agriculture, genetic engineering. They work closely with the Office of Technology Transfer over there.
Yeah.
A lot of the NIH grants and stuff like that that have become businesses that have come out of the professors and stuff are run through the Catalyst over there.
And they have some amazing research. That's
They
going
do
on. It's incredible
stuff. I don't
Yes.
know if people in Jonesboro really know some of the top level bioscience stuff that's happening in that building.
And some of the world renowned.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
there has been a lot of articles that have been written about Dr. Argelia Lawrence's rice research.
Yes.
That's been going on with different rice varieties and stuff going on, not just here in this, but around the world. You know,
Well,
and how
and
we can-
yes, and the resources we can bring to that, rice is grown all over the planet and is an important staple for everyone. It's amazing what can come out of little old Jonesboro.
Yeah, exactly. It's great. And, it starts here at A-State.
Yeah.
So great minds definitely are thinking alike. Now, let's talk about Thrown to the Wolves. You're
Yeah.
wearing the shirt. for
Yeah,
that. We
yeah.
just had that recently
Yes.
in A-State. Kind of tell us about what Thrown to the Wolves is for people who may not know.
So the inspiration was Shark Tank. If you've seen Shark Tank, you kind of know what we're doing. We have a pitch competition for high school students. Any high school student in Northeast Arkansas is pretty much eligible for it. You come up with an idea and you go live. We have a live band and everything. You go live on stage and do a pitch in front of some judges. you need to have a business plan in addition to your pitch and a good idea. And there's some nice prizes behind the whole thing. I think our grand prize this year was $1,000 in cash to the team. Yeah. So 1 to 3 people get to split that. $1,000 in cash to the class, that classroom teacher, and then $500 in scholarships for everyone. In fact, the first, second, and third place winners all get $500 scholarships to the ASU system. Yeah. So it's a really good opportunity to get your idea out. We just this last year had a team that came back with a expansion of their previous entry, and so we also this year have our top 3 teams that actually want to pursue making these their own businesses. And I've been in contact with one of them already about how we can advance this and actually turn it into a real thing.
That's fantastic. Well, and not only does it help students with being able to come up with these ideas, which once again, I'm here thinking, holy smokes, these students are so incredibly
amazing
talented.
Ideas.
But the elevator pitch itself,
yes,
I mean, and there was one student who was just like, I know, really flustered, and one student was, but everyone was encouraging him on because it was like, this is not easy to do. Not only is it not easy to do this, but also standing in front of strangers and standing in front of the public and being able to talk about something like this, hand claps and all that
yes,
stuff.
And you have 3 adult judges that are standing there that are going to quiz you like you wouldn't believe about the whole thing at the end of it. It's quite remarkable. And that's why we encourage teams of 3, because a lot of different people can bring their different talents to things. You might be good at the design or implementation stage of the whole idea, but somebody else might be the public speaker of the group. And so getting everyone to be able to get up there and work as a team and shine is part of what we're doing.
Fantastic. Yeah. So this was the 3rd year.
3rd year that we've had it. We're going to do it again next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with that, of course, you want as many teams.
We need teams. Yeah. We need teams. Yeah. One of the problems that we have had, everyone is very busy, and we've had teams that want to participate and then they have to drop out. And so as many teams as we can get would be great.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So I know that this is, of course, community outreach. Yes. This also deals with economic development. We've been talking about that. So important to be able to have that economic development aspect of this.
Yes, and this is part of an attempt to make a community ecosystem around innovation. One thing that we don't have as many people here in this corner of the state as they do maybe over around Fayetteville or something like that. We don't have the angel investors. We don't have some of the other things that they do in some places because we don't have as much innovative stuff going on. And so it's a chicken and egg problem. If you have a really hot football team, you're going to have scouts coming to check out your players. Getting the notice of the innovation community out there and getting the attention away from just Silicon Valley or something like that is part of what we're working on developing here and in the whole state. Yeah. So.
How is it when you're able to try to take that, help someone take the idea and then basically kind of build that bridge to be able to kind of help them kind of connect with like industry and with other areas, that are around the region?
It's a fantastic feeling, and it's good for all of us because all that economic activity eventually makes all of us richer, right? A lot of the things that come from the innovation that we connect people up with involve productivity. They're about doing something faster or cheaper or more efficiently than you used to be able to do it, and that's how you sustainably get wealthier. I mean, that being able to do things faster than your competition is the way things go. There's a lot of amazing ideas here in this area, and we just need more work, I think, to get those ideas to the planning stage and then to the financing stage.
So when people have those ideas, how do they get a hold of you all at A-State Innovate?
They can email me. My email address is mialexander@astate.edu. They can get a hold of the Delta Center. They can call. The phone number over there is 972-3000. We're on Facebook and Instagram. That's a very good way to get a hold of us too. Drop us a line. We do tours all the time. It's about a 20-minute tour. Like I said, we're open for the community or anyone that's curious about what's going on over there. I'd love to talk to y'all.
If you have an idea, this is a guy to talk to.
Absolutely. And there is no idea too crazy. We get all kinds of things, and you would be surprised at what will actually work.
Yeah. So if you have an idea about something, then this is a person to talk to.
Absolutely. Come see
And
us.
he's a super nice guy. He's a great guy. I really have enjoyed being able to get to know you and also have you here on A-State Connections. Thank
It's
you,
been
sir.
delightful. Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll definitely have to have you back.
I'd love to.
All right, very good. That's going to do it for this edition of A-State Connections here on ASU-TV. I want to thank my guest today, Michael Alexander, the coordinator of A-State Innovate. Also want to thank instructor of creative media production, Dustin Sullivan, and his amazing students in Video Production 1 who are behind the scenes running the show today. Also thanks to broadcast engineers Timmy Arquette and Aiden Barber for their help on the show. And also a big shout out to graduate assistant Reese Barnett for his hard work as well. Well, we'll see you next week on A-State Connections. So long, everyone.